Specialist is one of the 4 junior enlisted ranks in the U.S. Army, just above private first class and equivalent in pay grade to corporal. Unlike corporals, specialists are not considered junior non-commissioned officers. Recruits with college degrees and officer candidates, new recruits enlisting into the United States Army who have earned a 4-year degree, and as of 2006 those with civilian-acquired job skills, will enter as a specialist. Typically, newly recruited officer candidates hold the rank of specialist when enlisted, and during BCT prior to their official enrollment into OCS they will be administratively promoted to the pay grade of E5 but hold a rank of officer candidate, not sergeant. Trades and specialities. In 1920, the Army rank and pay system received a major overhaul. All enlisted and non-commissioned ranks were reduced from 128 different ensignias and several pay grades to only 7 rank ensignias and 7 pay grades, which were numbered in seniority from 7th grade to 1st grade. The 2nd grade had 2 rank titles, First Sergeant, which was 3 stripes, 2 rockers, and a lozenge in the middle, and Technical Sergeant, which was 3 stripes and 2 rockers. By World War II, the rank of First Sergeant had been elevated to 1st grade and a 3rd rocker was added, with a lozenge in the center to distinguish it from Master Sergeant. The wearing of specialist badges in set in rank insignia was abolished, and a generic system of chevrons and arcs replaced them. Private Specialist. From 1920 to 1942, there was a rank-designated private specialist that was graded in 6 classes. They were considered the equal of a private first class, but drew additional specialist pay in relationship to the specialist level possessed on top of their base PFC pay. The classes only indicated experience, not seniority, and a private specialist did not outrank a PFC officially. Specialists wore the single chevron of the PFC, because no special insignia was authorized to indicate their rank. Unofficially, a private/specialist could be authorized, at his commander's discretion, to wear 1 to 6 additional rockers under their rank chevron to denote specialty level. Technician. On January 8, 1942, the rank of technician was introduced to replace the private specialist rank, which was discontinued by June 30, 1942. This gave technical specialists more authority by grading them as non-commissioned officers rather than senior enlisted personnel. They were parallel to pay grades of the time, going in seniority from technician 5th grade, technician 4th grade, and technician 3rd grade. A technician was paid according to his grade, was outranked by the corresponding non-commissioned officer grade but was senior to the next lowest pay grade, and had no direct supervisory authority outside of his speciality. To reduce the confusion this caused in the field, an embroidered Euro insignia was authorized for wear under the chevrons on September 4, 1942. The rank was finally discontinued on August 1, 1948. Specialist. On July 1, 1955, 4 grades of Specialist were established: Specialist 3, Specialist 2, Specialist 1, and Master Specialist. In 1958 the DoD added 2 additional pay grades to give enlisted soldiers more opportunities to progress to a full career with additional opportunities for promotion. Thus the recognition was changed to 6 specialist ranks, and the pay grade was tied into the rank designation: Specialist 4, Specialist 5, Specialist 6, Specialist 7, Specialist 8 and Specialist 9. CSM Daniel K. Elder goes on to explain, in 1968 when the Army added the rank of Command Sergeant Major, the specialist ranks at E8 and E9 were abolished, because they were notional rather than actual. In 1978 the specialist rank at E7 was discontinued, and in 1985, the specialist ranks at E5 and E6 were discontinued. These specialist ranks were created to reward personnel with higher degrees of experience and technical knowledge. Appointment to either specialist or non-commissioned officer status was determined by military occupational specialty. Different military occupational specialities had various transition points. For example, in the band career field a bandsman could not achieve non-commissioned officer status until pay grade E6 was attained. In some military occupational specialities, a soldier was appointed either a specialist or non-commissioned officer depending on which particular position or slot that he filled in his organization. cooks were specialists, while a mess steward held the rank of sergeant. Specialist grades paralleled the corresponding grade of non-commissioned officer only in terms of pay. The specialist grades, although they outranked the enlisted grades, were outranked by all non-commissioned officers and lacked the authority conferred on them. This is the major differentiation between a specialist and a hard striper. When the so-called supergrades were introduced in 1958, the specialist grade titles were changed to Specialist 4 through Specialist 7. And the new grades Specialist 8 and Specialist 9 were added as well. Only the lowest specialist grade survives today, as the higher grades were gradually phased out. Specialist 8 and Specialist 9 were eliminated in 1968. Specialist 7 was abolished in 1978 and Specialist 5 and Specialist 6 in 1985. At that time, the rank of Specialist 4 simply became known as Specialist, which is how it is referred to today. While the official abbreviation was changed from SP4 to SPC upon the elimination of the SP5 and SP6 ranks, the SIGPA's database was initially authorized to continue using SP4 until such time as the change could be made at little or no additional expense in conjunction with other system upgrades. The continued use of SP4 on automatically produced documents hampered the adoption of the new abbreviation by individual soldiers who naturally viewed the computer-produced documents as the final word on what the proper term was. While uncommon, SP4 is still used. One reason for the stubborn continuance of the use of the 4 is that some soldiers see the SPC as looking too similar to SFC, Sergeant First Class, and the 4 differentiates it better. Nevertheless, SPC is the Army's official abbreviation. Today, the rank of specialist is the typical rank to which privates first class are promoted after 2 years of service, although PFCs may be wavered into the rank of specialist after 18 months' time in service and 6 months' time in grade. It is granted far more often than corporal, which is now reserved for personnel who have either passed the leadership development course or have been assigned low-level supervisory. Specialists were informally called specs plus the numerical grade of their rank. Thus, a Specialist 4 was called Spec 4. United States Navy. Between 1943 and 1944, the United States Navy maintained an enlisted rate of specialist in the petty officer pay grade structure. A seaman would typically be known as a specialist followed by a letter indicating what field the specialty was held. For instance, a specialist served as a classification interviewer, while a specialist was a Navy teacher, among several other specialist designations. The Navy's use of the specialist grade was eliminated in 1948, when the World War II specialist positions were merged into the standard rates structure. See also, List of comparative military ranks, United States Army enlisted rank insignia, United States military pay, references. External links, U.S. Army enlisted rank insignia, criteria, background, and images, The Short History of the Specialist Rank by Daniel K. Elder, CSM, USA.